Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees meeting, August 28th, 2023. Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Alfano? Here. Trustee Cordova?
Here.
Trustee Corkery?
Here.
Trustee Kozar?
Here.
Trustee Kumar? Trustee Patrick?
Here.
President Casone.
Here. If we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, we will go on to item 3A, and this is the Community Fund Commission, their oldest tree contest award. And I believe we have several people from the commission.
And it's not just the same tree 1 year older, as I understand.
No, it's not the same one. Somebody else joined in
Yes.
this time. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary from the Villa Park Community Fund Commission. That means focusing and unifying neighbors, so we try and have fun, exciting, unique, different things to get people together and interested in their community. Last year we did the oldest tree award, and the tree was 187 years old, our oldest tree. This year, nominated was a tree that was 200 years old. It's on 704 Harvard Avenue. It's in the Parkway. Let me hit my thing here. And as you can see, it's an American elm, and you see it, it completely shades the whole street. It goes over the whole street. It's a beauty to see, and I would urge people, if they're out walking or driving, to stop and look at it, because it really is fun to look at. This tree is home for a squirrel. We'll get to the squirrel house up on top of it, and it's probably worked 24/7 this year, helping to clean out the air from all of the smoke from the Canadian fires. Everyone's heard about the tree in Maui, the banyan tree. It's 150 years old, and they were trying, I don't know if they got anywhere or not, but I know they were trying their darndest to revive this tree and make it viable again, because it meant so much to the community, and it was something that gave them hope. Our tree is 50 years older than that. When our tree was, or this tree was sprouting, the banyan tree, our tree was already 50 years trying. There's the squirrel's nest right there. So I think it's really important that we take care of our trees and at least see how important they are and what they do for us. And when you have neighbors come or visitors, you can take them by that tree and say, that tree estimates to be 200 years old. So I would like to call up Judy and Gary Barry doesn't spell, who have nominated the tree. It's right in front of their house, so they get to look at it every single day. And there's a $50 gift card, Visa gift card for you to enjoy. Maybe buy some squirrel food.
I'll tell you, we've already spent it. It's not going to the squirrels, I'll
And you
tell you.
also had mentioned that your neighbors are well aware of how big that your tree is and how it covers them. So we got you a magnet for you to give to your neighbors so they can be part of
It should be by the microphone.
the award. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. This tree has been our companion for 51 years. We've been in that house. We have been blessed with shade as well as 5 other houses. And it's also blessed us with lots and lots and lots of leaves. So thank you very much. And as a side note, our neighbors are all going to join us by the tree tomorrow night. Until
Nice. There you go.
Wonderful. Are we invited?
Mike checked, it's not on the list. It's very live.
I won't say nothing. Thank you.
It's kind of remarkable it survived the Dutch elm disease spread.
That was 704 South Harvard, is that correct? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
If you go on YouTube, there was a thing by Bill Carges last year.
Would you mind coming up and speak just so we can hear you?
There was a thing on the last tree by Bill Carges, and it was also an American elm. But he told people why some of the elm trees might have lived through that. They had some kind of thing inside them where they were immune to it. So if you want to watch that, that's a little bit more history. So.
Great. Thank you.
We had, when we moved in, there was some 13, I think it's like 13 trees from ours to the street of Washington. It cut down the delicacies that were all in the same age.
Agent didn't accidentally cut.
And their house, our whole area looked like a new development when they moved all the streets out.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to item 3Bs, high-level promotions, naming rights presentation. This is regarding the new rec center that's being built in Lions Park. And we have some gentlemen here from high-level promotions. If you please give your name.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Colton Wayne. This is Donnie Baker. We're the founders of High Level Promotions. We came from I came from the village of Denton, right outside of Lincoln, Nebraska, with 56 people. Donnie,
I got a town of 700 people, so we grew up in the small town feel. I still farm with my old man, so we're not just your average suit and tie guys. You know, we come shake your hand. You know, we both played college football, so we kind of, when we built this company, we're all about team. And that's what I see, you know, going into cities and going into, you know, municipalities and different things like that, helping them, you know, becoming part of their team and just, you know, speaking on their voice.
Yeah, on the team side of things, that's basically what I'm about to tell you is a fancy way of saying we're really good at building relationships that are going to last. So our job is to come in. I'll make sure everybody can see. Here we go. Executive summary should have it. So all of this is just a fancy way to say, right there at the bottom, the mixture of high-level promotions, Midwestern work ethic, and core values of relationships matter has resulted in high-level results, significant returns, and long-term rapport with our partners. We create an environment where everyone wins. So what our job is to come in and partner with you. We're here on site for groundbreakings. We're here on site for tours. We're here on site for openings. And I'll get into what exactly we're talking about as we go. But we're going to serve as your catalyst and kind of like hole puncher, essentially, to start building these relationships where people are going to medical partners, banking partners. I believe you guys have your broadband all figured out and everything else, correct? On that side. But as far as your community, people that want to be involved in this. Well, a lot of people don't know how to get involved. Well, that's where we specialize, and we have 14 projects across 9 different states right now. Anything from sports complexes to event centers. We had a drive-in movie theater. We have 2 rec centers. I mean, if it's an asset that the community's going to come gather at, we're very well versed in knowing what the benefits are for the partner and what the benefits are for the city or municipality. Go through. Already did this. Oh yeah, outline. So we've already been doing the evaluation of opportunity, and excuse me while I pull up a couple of partners that we've discussed. Hopefully everybody is familiar with like DuPage Credit Union, OSF Healthcare, Northwestern Medicine. We've worked directly with these companies on past projects and projects in this footprint. And through discussions with them, we know that this is going to be a viable opportunity for corporate partners to get involved with. And so this opportunity is something where we're going to build the platform essentially where we're going to bring you a medical partner, a banking partner, multiple, and then it's up to you guys to make the decision of, hey, we want to go with this one, or hey, we don't. We don't make the decisions there. Our job is to cultivate and bring those relationships to you guys, and at the point where they are now on the table, it's up to you guys to determine who you want to partner with going forward. Oh, I should have put that part up there, excuse me, right there. You are the boss type model, right there. We've already examined the local market. We've reviewed the existing inventory. Greg, Matt, we had discussions with your guys', for example, if that would help, your guys' community track, right? Medical partners and everything else like that. Your physical therapies, your chiropractors, they have reason to get involved in that, not only because it's good for the community, but also they can send their patients and everything there as well. So if there's items on the agenda that are like, hey, we need a little bit more money, and up on the top of the page, for an example, Clyde, Texas was $600,000 short of being able to fulfill their dream of having their Clyde sports complex, 8 baseball, softball fields, tennis courts, everything else. They came to us, and 60 days later, we brought them $1.2 million in sponsorships, and they were able to actually expand the project, and now it is actually being built across the road as well. Our job is not to make it look like a NASCAR speedway. If you like NASCAR, that's awesome. I like going to any type of sporting event, but that is not our job. Our job is to come to you with cornerstone partners that are going to make a difference and look aesthetically pleasing. It's not, I don't want to, this is a terrible example, but I'm not going to have the urinal have a logo in it, right? Like, you've been to a hockey game, you've probably seen one, right? That's not our job. Our job is to put up in the gym and on the outside of the building, Pepsi, Coke, Ford, Chevrolet, Blue Cross Blue Shield, something of that nature in that realm to garner the national support to say, hey, let's put this on the map. Well, our process actually begins on the opposite end. Don't you want to take that?
Yeah, basically, you know, what Colton was talking about, we have the national partners, but we want to start local. We don't want, you know, the Joe Smo, like the mom and pop stores being like, why did we not get an opportunity to have the naming rights to this track or to the courts or something like that? So we start local, and then we build out to our regional brands and also to our national brands after that.
And then, obviously, all of this is 30,000-foot view. When you look at the opportunity going forward, the naming of the facility, your guys', I think we mentioned a couple different ones, your beverage service options. Another reason why we love partnering with municipalities is some of these partners won't give you guys the opportunities that they give to us. Meaning that for beverage, right? Everybody's heard of rebates. Well, rebates are great, but upfront cash and rebates is way better. For an example, in Grand Island, Nebraska, right near Donnie's hometown, they had a previous agreement with Pepsi. Well, we came in and we looked over the contract and everything else. They were giving them zero money and like a $3 rebate based off of 3,000 cases. All details that you guys don't need to know. But once we reviewed the contract, they were able to receive $25,000 a year for 10 years. So $250,000 that they didn't even know was accessible to them. And that was us looking at their contract saying, this isn't right. They're already over a 3,000 case load. They've maintained this even through COVID. This is an opportunity that we need to grow this. And if you're not the partner, that's where we can step in and be your firewall to make the hard decision to say, hey, we're going to go to Dr. Pepper. I'm going to go to Coke and get counter offers. Well, they ponied up and the facility is still partnered with Pepsi. Typical contracts, so like how long we're partnered on, I believe it's 3 years. So this is going to develop. Obviously, construction is not going to pop up overnight. Right? That's not. I mean, I wish it could. Right? I built houses, and every day I was there building houses for 6 years. I was like, dang, I hope we could finish this tomorrow. 6 weeks down the way, we're still working on the dang porch. So with this construction project being in the future, this is a great opportunity and time for us to jump in. Reason being is the buzz that this is going to create. I think back in November of 2022 was when the last article came out about this recreation center, and then I believe the last one was about the grant. Well, as these opportunities come up, this is great publicity for these different brands, local and national, to come across and say, a mom and pop shop right next to Ford looks great on the local, and it looks great on Ford as well. These opportunities, as we move forward for the groundbreaking, I can have Pepsi there serving beverages right next to mom and pop shops and one of our national brands. So it's not just a we have to wait until it's built, right? As we build it, they will come. So on the groundbreakings, on the ribbon cuttings, on the grand openings, we will continue to bring people in and increase that visibility through media, through partnerships on site, you name it. Final thoughts. Donnie mentioned it already. So we have during COVID, we started this during COVID. We are look you in the eye, tell you what we're going to do, shake hands, and then do it. That's how we operate, right? Well, this last slide is, we didn't get to do that with people, right? We had this click of the button. Well, that was what we essentially moved towards, was a click of the button is our digital handshake to say, hey, we're in partnership now. If you need something from us, or if there's something that you need us to be a part of, we're there. If it's we're going to St. Joseph, Michigan for a bags tournament, October 19th, my dad's birthday, October 19th. They were like, hey, we're gonna have some people involved. Would you guys? Absolutely, right? We're a part of your team now. We're going to be there for you as this project grows. And so with that, if you guys have any questions, I'm not sure the format, so please direct me. Questions are welcomed. With that.
Just a quick question. Who determines like how much we would get from, say Coke wants to come in? Do they make the offer, or is that like a negotiation?
Negotiation. On the beverage side, that's not a negotiation. We will go directly to all three of the big brands, and based off of your numbers from one of the admin staff that's going to have the calculations of how many cases you assume are going to get put in, we'll be able to have a offer from them, example of that. On the naming rights and everything else, that is going to be a battle back. Are you guys banking with BMO Harris, correct?
Yes, most of her, yeah.
So historically, they don't do any type of sponsorship or advertising. That's just something that they don't believe in, right? Well, there are local banks and everything around that do believe in that. Well, if we, for example, when you talk about negotiations, we can have multiple banks take different partners, or we can have an overall, hey, this is an exclusive opportunity. Those are the type of negotiations that are able to be discussed as each asset comes up. So like the court versus the walking track versus the patio outside. So each of those assets, and Ryan, I know he's watching right now, Ryan essentially knows where everything is across the United States of what the go-to-market rate is, what the low rate is, and then also what we're going to take it to market with that.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other questions here? Okay, nothing? Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate your time here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, we'll go to item number 4, public comments on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, anyone signed up?
Yes, first one I have is Ray Cheska.
This is relative to the 5G to towers. I'm Ray Cheska, a neighbor, friend, and a servant of the same God you referred to in your opening prayer. I am the one that sent you a docket of information about electromagnetic radiation, and I hope you devoted some time to reviewing it before making any decision on the 2 towers. Who are you going to trust? Who is telling you the truth? Are you going to believe the FCC, where you already know that they are delinquent in their responsibility, or what the industry is telling you, where there is not $1 spent on research? Or are you going to believe your residents? The same people who entrusted you with a huge responsibility, and for you to fully understand the repercussions of your decision-making. Now, let me explain. On June 24th of this year, the Ocean Gate Titan submersible went missing. Everybody knows that. Ocean Gate's legal representative boasted the Titan's unparalleled safety features in a 2021 court ruling, saying it had built with the University of Washington's Applied Physics Laboratory. But the university said the lab had never dealt with the design, engineering, and testing of the Titan. Industry leaders also expressed concerns about the company's experimental approach
to the Titan submersible and its trip to the Titanic. The hull already showed signs of cyclic fatigue at levels well before reaching the 3,800-meter depth of the Titanic. But investors in the project pushed forward and went ahead with the project with questions still unanswered. Just like the last time we met, NASA's space shuttle not testing the O-rings before it launched. Do you know what happened there? All 5 passengers on the Titan were lost for lack of doing all their homework first. Now, you are facing the same decision, right? The same thing in this untested and experimental project with the 2 towers.
30 seconds.
Oh. A $30 million study conducted by the National Toxicology Program was designed to determine whether exposure to RF radiation emitted by cell towers and used by cell phones and other wireless devices could cause cancer. A review of the data by independent experts shows that the causal relationship was much stronger than previously thought. Despite industry spin, like what you are getting here, experts have labeled this study as clear evidence of the link between RF radiation and carcinogenicity.
Mr. Cheska, can you kind of speak? Your 3 minutes is up. You want to kind of finish up?
Yes, I'm right here. I was talking before we started. Another fact, the Ramsini Institute, an international scientific academy of physicians and scientists from 35 countries, found that the lab animals exposed to RF radiation emitted from distant cell towers had a greater chance of developing heart tumors and those who were not exposed. So what are you going to do?
Sir.
Who you are going to trust? Industry with no research or testing, or our scientific community with millions spent on research? So as Margaret Thatcher said to George Bush during the Iraq War, George, this is no time for wobbly knees. Let's not be wobbly about this important decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Nancy Perlman.
Good evening, and thank you for your service to the Village of Villa Park. The petitioners this evening, under oath, speak as though there is a guarantee for the tower to fall upon itself. This is regarding the cell tower on the property that they want to put in Willowbrook High School. Regarding the Sabre Industries fall letter, it states the most likely location of the failure would be within the monopole shaft above the base plate. This is a biased opinion written by the stakeholder manufacturer and without any independent expert. It states the tower is only designed for a 40-mile-per-hour wind speed with 3/4 of an inch ice. That's insufficient for this climate, as in winter, wind gusts have reached 55 miles per hour in the Chicago area. It states 50 feet fall zone is based upon the following condition. Assuming that the wind pressure profile is similar to that used to design the monopole, an ultimate wind speed of 115 miles per hour without ice. Tornadoes in this area have approached 200 miles per hour. There is no safety testing stated for tornado vortex type wind load. Also, the application cover letter non-committally stated the tower essentially collapses upon itself. Its monopole construction, one segment overlaps the other. There is sufficient evidence in a video link that I've supplied in this comment here that the tower wouldn't collapse upon itself. Common industry practice is just not ensuring public safety in the residential zone with school children present. Per our research, the only monopole structural failures we found were at the base plate at the ground level, resulting in the fall spanning the complete height of the tower. We also only found Sabre Industries to be the only company with the claim of leaning over and remaining in a permanently deformed condition, just as this fall letter refers to the apparent breakpoint. Here is a summary of the evidence of our group of concerned citizens who you represent has submitted to this board to inform you of why to deny this special use permit. An ice report by a physicist showing danger to the public safety by falling ice shards. Evidence of the potential fire hazard, which is in violation of your special use permit application requirements. The permit application lacks the required NEPA checklist by federal law. I spoke with a former FCC NEPA attorney who said that this is required of a new macro cell tower.
30 seconds.
FirstNet already has infrastructure and coverage in the area with a water tower location at Ardmore and St. Charles. TowerCo has not met the requirement of hardship as discussed at the Coffee with the Trustees on August 5th. Please, do the right thing for the safety of the residents of Villa Park and the children and deny the application for the special use permit to TowerCo as there is more than sufficient evidence to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
If no one else
Okay,
signed up.
Please. Could you please state your name and sign in, please?
Oh, sure. Tina Chan, and I'd like to provide some perspective. So I actually live near a 5G antenna, and after the 5G antenna went up, I didn't realize why I was not able to sleep. And so I had a lot of restlessness, anxiety while sleeping, not being able to fall asleep. You wake up, you can't fall back asleep. And then, over time, this is many months, your body starts to, basically break down. So you either get sick or, it could lead to chronic disease, all those things because your body's not able to recover at night due to not getting sleep. So I'd like to provide you, one testimony myself after an antenna goes up and what happens to the body, because there are studies that show that it causes sleeplessness for people, it causes cancer, it causes fertility issues, it causes many other things that are actually documented in studies. If you go on NIH, which is in some of the information that was given to you, and I believe that if the residents, if you really care about safety, safety includes the body includes the mind, the heart, all your organs. And if you're being radiated by microwave technology that's maybe low power rating, but you're getting it every single day, 24/7, and you don't actually even understand the dangers of it, then your residents are really not safe. And I think if you're going to talk about safe and effective, it's really about the body, and you have to look into those kind of concerns, especially if they're being raised before making a decision on putting up a 5G tower, and especially on a playground or in a school where there are children there for 6 to 8 hours. What are those repercussions? What's going to happen to those children, their brain development? There's so many other things to consider than just the rent that you're going to get from a 5G tower. Or, you're getting pressured by TowerCo because they want to put up towers and they already got one in, so they want to get two in, they want to get 4 in, 5 in, because this is recurring revenue for them. So if you look at those different factors, I think that it actually makes your decision a little more difficult, and it's not that easy to just say yes because people are pushing you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing it, no one. We go to item number 5 is amendments to the agenda. Do we have anyone an amendment? Okay, seeing none. We move on to item 6A is a proclamation recognizing August 31st, 2023 as International Overdose Awareness Day. Whereas since 2001, International Overdose Awareness Day has been recognized on August 31st in communities around the world to acknowledge those who have experienced an overdose, as well as loved ones who have been affected. And whereas the national opioid epidemic poses a significant threat to public health and safety, overdoses related to opioids are affecting more family members, neighbors, and friends than ever before. And whereas in 2021 there were 3,717 drug overdose fatalities in Illinois, which is a loss of more than 10 Illinois residents each day, and is the leading cause of accidental death for Illinois residents aged 18 through 49. And whereas it is important to identify and prevent the risks of overdose as well as reduce the stigma of substance addiction in family and community life. And whereas on August 31st, 2023, we will honor the people whose lives have been altered by overdose. They are our family and friends grieving the loss of a loved one, workers in healthcare and support services extending strength and compassion, or spontaneous first responders who selflessly assume the role of lifesaver. Now therefore, I, Nick Cazzone, President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby proclaim August 31st, 2023 as International Overdose Awareness Day in the Village of Villa Park. And this is definitely a major problem that we have in our country and local. And it happens even in DuPage County. So just be aware of this. Okay, move on to our consent agenda. The bill listings for the weeks of August 14th and 21, 2023, in the total amount of $1,345,092.05. And item 7B, the minutes from August 14th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting and the regular meeting of the Village Board. And we have a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, we have a second?
I'll second
Trustee
that motion.
Alfano, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornacki, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Cordova,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
President Cazzone.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 8A is ordinances. It's an ordinance approving Walker's plat of subdivision. Manager Harline.
Sorry, I was just, the petitioner, property owner Scott Walker, is seeking approval of plat of subdivision for a single lot subdivision. Walker's plat of subdivision per Article 2, Section 2, Procedures and Plat C, Administrative Plat Approval Procedures of Appendix 2, located at 15 East Van Buren Street. Their Community Development Director, Mark McLaughlin, is here to give you any details you need added. Basically, all these properties are owned by the same person. They used to be a park. As many properties in that area had parks in the middle of the block, and they're just consolidating 3 parcels that they own.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kozar?
Make that motion.
We have a second? Trustee Patrick. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornacki, please.
Okay, Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Cordova,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
President Cazzone.
Yes. Okay, item 8B is an ordinance authorizing a special use to allow for the installation and construction of a new wireless telecommunications tower and antenna in the RS 7.5 Residential Single Dwelling District for the property located at 1250 South Ardmore Avenue in the Village of Villa Park, Illinois. Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Corkery? Second? A second for the ordinance. Okay.
The ordinance fails for lack of a second. Be considered.
It won't be considered, okay. Can that be brought up again?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, seeing as we don't have a second on the ordinance, it does not pass tonight, so the petitioner can bring it up again in the future. Any time frame?
Yes. Within a time frame?
Yeah, any particular time
It
frame?
just depends, you know, on the manager and the board's will on it.
Okay. Okay, so there will not be a vote on that tonight.
There's a specific time frame for the board to take action on the special use, 60 days within having been given the memo. The memo was presented to the board officially on July 24th, 2023, so 60 days from that date. If there's no official action, it will be deemed a denial, and at that point, any rights that are afforded to the applicant can be implemented.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Okay, with that, we'll move to item 8C, is an ordinance amending ordinance 4100, Exhibit A, plat of vacation. Andrew Harline.
Exhibit A ordinance 4100 is a plat of vacation which, if recorded, would have vacated the entire alley, but would not have divided it into the agreed parcels as outlined in that ordinance. This amended Exhibit A is also a plat of vacation, but includes legal descriptions for the creations of parcels A through E, and also places a public utilities easement on the east 10% of the vacated alley instead of the entire 20 feet, sorry, east 20 feet, 10 feet of the vacated alley instead of the entire 20 feet width of the vacated alley as agreed by ComEd. A couple of real quick comments. This goes back to an ordinance that was passed by the board in 2019. We received payment from 3 of the residents. There's a 4th one who's willing to step forward. The 5th one we've lost contact with, but 3 of them have been waiting for several years for this to be completed. And there's the whole story behind that. Also, we spent some time working with ComEd, and I appreciate all the work that Mark McLaughlin put in on this. Our utility agreement, the franchise agreement with ComEd, says that when we vacate an alley, the entire alley becomes a easement, but we worked with them to the ability to only have the east 10 feet because our understanding is that the original request came from somebody on West Jackson to formally use the public there is a driveway on both ends. One is fully in the easement, one is partially in the easement that has been used for a number of years, and he wanted to formally purchase that and then possibly build a garage on that, but he had to go through this process, and so they're willing to move forward. So we're just trying to make sure that we can consummate this deal that we promised almost 4 years ago.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Corkery, we have a second. Trustee Kozar?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Cozzone?
Yes. Okay, move on to item 8D, is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive public utility easement agreement between Chicago SMSA Limited Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless, in the Village of Villa Park, Illinois. Manager Harline.
This ordinance, if approved, would grant Verizon Wireless a permanent utility easement along the south property line of the Public Works facility at 729 North Ardmore Avenue, also known sometimes as a Hill Street facility. Verizon wishes to bore and insert fiber optic cable and conduit to connect to a cellular tower on the site. This would improve Verizon's service in the area. The village staff at the direction of the board proposed a price of $6,000 for non-exclusive access to the 8-foot by 237-foot easement, and they have agreed to it with the stipulation that all permits and fees are included within that $6,000. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion for the ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alfano, do we have a second? Trustee Corkery? Okay, any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Yes, Trustee Alfano.
I just wanted to thank Director Guerrera for going back to them with the number that we came up with. And thank you for negotiating that for us. Thank you.
Okay. Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Cozzone?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to resolutions. Item 9A is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an agreement with High Level Promotions from St. Edward, Nebraska, to secure sponsorship naming rights for various areas within the village's recreation center. Manager Harline.
Staff has been investigating additional revenue streams for the recreation center and actually this can be not just the recreation center, but to help offset building and or operational costs. High-level promotions specialize in securing sponsors in a variety of sports, entertainment, and recreation facilities. The proposed agreement would allow High-Level Promotions to solicit interest from potential sponsors and bring back to the village proposed naming right packages for approval. The village would receive 70% of the proceeds garnered from the sponsorships, and High-Level Promotions would receive 30% of the gross sponsorships secured. Staff recommends approval of approval of giving the village manager the right to negotiate and complete this agreement. There are some things that we could maybe improve on the agreement, but when we've also talked to the Colton and I don't usually go by first names, but I'm some of the things that they've done in other places. Critical here is that this is of that there's public acceptance for bringing corporate sponsor or other things into the village recreation center or other facilities, but we're focusing on the recreation center first, of course, because that's our biggest need. We'll have some good news in section 10, the items under 10, but we still have some funding gaps. So we we were looking for different options and they found us. So it's kind of kismet. We have not talked to any other firms at this point, as I've gotten questions about that. So that was more than I intended to say. Greg Gola, the Parks and Recreation Director, who has had the most contact with the gentleman with High-Level Promotions, is here also, can answer questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
I would just like to say that I'm excited for this opportunity to see what you can bring to Villa Park here. It is a great opportunity for us to kind of close the gap financially on some of those things that we have. I think it's a great opportunity. I'd like to see how this progresses and go from there. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Cordova?
So, two questions. First one, Manager Harlan, you said that there's going to be a public acceptance of that. What can you just?
No, my comment is that we can give you a lot of technical expertise as to how much money this could garner, and we can work with them and figure out what the possibilities are. But really, this board and is the best arbiter of, is this something that will be acceptable to this community? Okay. And that I'm reluctant to make any comment in that. Being a one-year resident here, I don't know if I'm not nearly as qualified as the rest of you on that topic.
Trustee Alfano?
I would just like to say, I think this is a really good idea. I'm a little reluctant to make this decision tonight. I would like to get some resident feedback on the issue that Manager Harline brings up, and we're also missing a trustee that I think I would like to have all trustee input on this particular issue, since it is pertaining to our $20 million project.
Trustee Corkery?
This is just exploratory, right? We're not committing to anything except asking around for who might be interested?
So the agreement would sign that we would start looking for bringing back potential sponsors. Mm-hmm. As a part of the agreement would be that you guys get the last choice on if you go with that sponsor.
Sure.
So,
Trustee Cordova?
So, let's say we move forward, mm-hmm. and then someone comes to us with just a better deal. Mm-hmm. Are we not stuck, but are we, beholden to staying with this agreement? So let's say these guys bring us this wonderful thing, mm-hmm. and then someone comes in, competitor or whatever, and said we could do 2x. What does that look like for us?
Are you talking like another company comes in and says we'll do it for 80% or 80-20 or somebody?
So that, and then if they come with $10 million from Nike, whoever it would be, how does that look?
Would you like to come up? Why don't you come on up and?
Great question.
So, number one, if you want to explore other options, there are 3 companies across the United States that do what we do. And I can tell you right now, Sports Facilities Management, they won't take a project under $100 million. Donnie, I can't remember the next one. Sportsman Solutions, they're going to ask for a retainer up front without guaranteeing any prices, and then us. There are, I can send you the websites to them. We've dealt with them on different RFPs and everything else like that. As far as, we have a, Melissa, have you been reviewing our document?
Just briefly.
We have a very friendly mutual out clause. We have a 100% retention ratio with all of our clients, and most of our projects come from referrals. And our mutual out clause says if you guys want us out, basically we're out. The only thing is if we've secured a deal that's already been negotiated and signed, at that point that deal stays with us for the duration of that.
Trustee Kozar.
I like Colton and Donnie, but I understand Trustee Alfano's point, and just generally speaking, if any trustee up here needs more time or wants to explore something on any item that is ever on our agenda, I support that. So if the rest of the board would decide that they would like to maybe table this to a date certain and then come back to it, I would support that.
Thank you. I'd like to make just a couple comments. I know one of your comments was, we don't want to be NASCAR, which I totally agree. But years ago, the Willowbrook High School athletic boosters wanted to put signs up just for football games, and we would take them down after every game, and that was one of the comments that we got from the board, actually the school board at the time. Now, transition 10 years later, they are allowing advertising at the football games. So I think, I'm perfectly okay with, going and delaying this, but I think the village is okay with naming, as long as it is, done in good taste, which it sounds like you guys, are not going to have, the bathrooms and, the urinals with advertising on them. Okay. Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion then that we table 9A until 9/11/23 at our next stated board meeting. That will also allow us to open up conversation again, is that correct? I mean, for question and answer as well from the public?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have a motion to table this until the 9/11 meeting. We have a second. Trustee Alfano?
I will make that motion, or second.
Just a technicality, it's a motion to postpone to the 9/11/23 meeting.
Sorry, I always do that. Okay, any discussion? Yeah, Trustee Kozar.
I wanted to add from my last comment, I mean, in theory, generally speaking, I'm in favor of sponsorship, and I'm in favor of bringing outside money for it. That said, anybody in the community, if they would like to send us, and I say us as the trustee, an email and give us your opinion, I would like to have that conversation, or I would like to have that dialogue, that open door. So please do that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Alfano.
I will piggyback on what Trustee Kozar said. I am not opposed to this at all. I just want to make sure that we have everybody represented, and we all do have different residents who speak to us, so.
Sure. Okay, great. Okay. Clerk Kornacki, this is the vote to postpone the discussion until September 11th, 2023 meeting.
Okay. Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Cazone?
Yes. Okay, so we'll bring...
So we are on project with the University of North Dakota, so we'll be in Grand Forks at that point.
Okay.
We won't be able to be in person, but I'll absolutely be accessible by Zoom.
Okay.
Assuming I'm going to coordinate with you, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
It helps if you know a name.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. Well, thanks again for coming tonight, and we'll be speaking in a couple of weeks. Okay, go on to item 9B is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a separation agreement and general release. I think the board, we've had discussions on this in executive session, and I think everyone's had a chance to review the resolution. We have a motion for this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
No.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, so that passes. Item 9C is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an agreement with Federal Rent-A-Fence of West Berlin, New Jersey, for professional services related to temporary construction fencing for the Lions Park Recreational Center project in an amount of $35,150. Major Harling.
Excuse me. Staff recommends approval of the resolution authorizing an agreement with Federal Rent-A-Fence for professional services to provide temporary construction fencing during the construction process for the new Lions Recreation Center in the amount of $35,150. It was decided that the cheapest way would be to have the village arrange for this contract by ourselves. And I will try and answer, we've got Brian Roach here to answer questions. I think Greg went back and is talking to the gentleman from High Level Promotion. So if you have any questions, Brian can answer those questions for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kozar.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, item number 10 are resolutions regarding work package number 2 for the New Lions Recreation Center project. Before the village board or consideration are resolutions approving various trade contracts associated with work package number 2 for the Lions Park Recreation Center, totaling an amount not to exceed $11,968,544. With the Board of Trustees directed to add the running track, the total bid amount would increase by $500,390. Major Harline?
I'll read the let me start by saying the village received a total of 117 bids for the various trades, which is an excellent turnout, and equipment areas, various trades and equipment areas for the public bid opening held August 3 at the Iowa Community Center related to work package number 2 for the new Lions Park Recreation Center project. WB Olson reviewed the submitted bid amounts and is recommending the village proceed with the approval of the lowest responsible and qualified bids from the following 25 trade contractors. I want to throw in a couple of notes here before I read off the amounts. The item Y is actually from work package number 1. So if you went and did all the math, you're not going to come up with the $11,968,544 because the bid by Garb was part of package 1. We approved those early so they could get started on making those. So that's a change order, and we'll get to that. And then I guess I'll read off the proposed companies to accept bids. They are not in the same. These are not in this exact same order as they are. Are they in the exact order? I don't think they are.
No,
they're not. Because okay. So as we go through, I'm also going to turn it over here to Melissa to explain kind of the intricacies of the voting and how we can save a little bit of time. So American Grading Incorporated is the recommended bid for excavation site demolition in the amount of $739,400. Alacio and Sons Company does site utilities in the amount of $278,627. Chadwick Contracting for asphalt paving in the amount of $19,800. Midwest Brick Paving Incorporated, brick pavers in the amount of $139,900. Breezy Hill Landscaping, Inc., landscaping in the amount of $127,200. Abbey Paving Company, Inc., concrete in the amount of $842,900. JAC Masonry, Inc., for masonry in the amount of $463,000. McKinney Steel and Sales Incorporated for miscellaneous metals and steel in the amount of $256,384. Hargrave Builders General Trades in the amount of $1,055,450. GC Roofing in the amount of $602,402. 3F Corporation for glass and aluminum in the amount of $1,138,000. Hargrave Builders Exterior Envelope in the amount of $963,450. Champion Drywall, Inc. and Drywall and Acoustics in the amount of $768,490. Douglas Floor Covering and Ceramic and Tile in the amount of $242,450. And they were a second lowest bidder. We'll get to that later. Rockford Central Tile and Terrazzo Flooring in the amount of $145,480. Actually, this was the one that Douglas Floor was the number 2 bid, yeah. And for carpet and resilient flooring in the amount of $169,590. ProStar Services, Inc. for wood and resilient athletic flooring in the amount of $329,700. The last one, this next one, Asher Brothers would be the painting contractor for the amount of $178,800 if you chose not to move forward with the track, or Matan Group in the amount of $182,500 plus the $12,500 bid if alternate bid number 1, the running track, is accepted. So Matan is the lower bidder if you put both parts together. The Lawson Equipment Group is the low bidder for athletic equipment in the amount of $208,224. Ewing Dougherty Mechanical, Inc. in plumbing in the amount of $638,850.
Skip 20.
Oh, sorry. Bolter LLC Food Service, number 20, is the equipment, food service equipment in the amount of $121,047. Absolute Fire Protection, Inc., fire protection services in the amount of $131,100. Amber Mechanical Contractors, Inc., the recommended for HVAC in the amount of $794,300. There's a special note on that bid. And Valley Electrical Contractors Electric in the amount of $1,614,000. Garby Iron Works is actually a change order that would bring the total bid up to $1.23 million. The addition is $212,000. I'd have to go back and look really quick. I've forgotten the total amount. So if the board is recommending moving forward with the track and yeah, the change order is for $215,100. So the total amount, actually the base bid was $1,230,000, and the change order would add $215,100 to the Garby contract. That would be a change order because we already accepted their bid for structural steel because that was the early bid packet. So I'm going to let Melissa describe the how we're going to put it together for voting so that we can save some time and also address the other 14 was very simple, lowest bid, and then there's some other caveats which I'll let you, special circumstances, will let Melissa describe.
Thank you, Manager Harline. So as the board considers these contracts, they have been put in order on the agenda so that you could group them together. Some of the contracts may require some deliberation, though, because you're going to be determining whether or not you would like to take the alternate bid, which would include the running track as an option. So the first group, items 10A through 10N, as in Nancy, were, they did not involve any kind of alternate bidding situation. So those contractors had no bid related to the running track. And all of those bids were the lowest bidder. So again, not an item that would require much deliberation. So the board can entertain initially a motion to approve items 10A through 10N as in Nancy, if you'd like to get through that. The remaining of the items have various issues and may require some board deliberation, so I would recommend that you discuss those subsequent matters individually. But for the first group, if you'd like to do that, you can make that one motion to go through that first set. And if the board would like to hear some information from W.B. Olson regarding the numbers to make a determination as to whether or not you would like to entertain the running track, we can do that because that will help the board make its decisions on items 10R through 10Y.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to lump items 10A?
Well, it would just be a motion to approve items 10A through 10N.
Okay, a motion to approve items 10A through 10N. Trustee Corkery?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick? Okay.
Read the resolutions individually into the record.
Yes, so now, Mayor, if you could, or President Cozzone, if you could do that, please.
Okay.
If you could read the titles of
Sure.
resolutions 10A through 10N.
Okay, item 10A is a resolution authorizing the issuance of notice of award and contract for excavation and site demolition for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to American Grading, Inc. for $739,400. Item 10B is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for landscaping for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Breezy Hill Landscaping in the amount of $127,200. Item 10C is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for food service equipment for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Bolter LLC in the amount of $121,047. Item 10D is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for masonry for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to JAC Masonry, Inc. in the amount of $463,000. Item 10E is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for brick pavers for the new Lions Park Recreation Center, Midwest Brick Paving, Inc. in the amount of $139,900. Item 10F is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for building plumbing for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Ewing Doherty Mechanical, Inc. in the amount of $638,850. $638,850. Item 10G is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for ceramic tile for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Douglas Floor Covering, Inc. in the amount of $242,450. Item 10H is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for asphalt paving for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Chadwick Contracting Company in the amount of $19,800. Item 10I is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for terrazzo flooring for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Rockford Central Tile and Terrazzo Company, Inc. in the amount of $145,480. Item 10J is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for exterior envelope work for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Hargrave Builders, Inc. in the amount of $963,450. Item 10K is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for roofing and sheet metal for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to GC Roofing LLC, the amount of $602,402. Item 10L is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for athletic equipment for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Larson Equipment and Furniture Company in the amount of $208,224. Item 10M is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for drywall and acoustic for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Champion Drywall, Inc. in the amount of $768,490. And item 10N is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for electric for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Valley Electrical Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $1,614,000. And do we have a motion for items? Oh, we already did that. We already did that. Okay. Okay, do we have any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, we'll go on to item 10O, is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for carpet and resilient flooring for the new Lions Park Recreation Center. Do we have a motion for the ordinance?
So, a couple
Or
of
for the-
things, if I could.
Sure. Go ahead.
Oh, do you want to get the motion first?
Yeah, I'll get the motion,
Get the
yeah.
motion, sorry.
Okay, do we have a motion? Trustee Patrick? Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano? Okay. Manager Harlan?
A couple things. This is the first of two where there was the lowest bid was not had an error or a flaw in it. And the second one is similar to it, where it was agreed that there was by the lowest bidder that they understood why their bid was being rejected for a flaw or an error in their calculation in the as the case may be. Specifics you can ask Dan Paul and Dave. Yeah, and they're also here if you want. At some point before we start talking about adding the. Whether we want to do the track, if you have some questions, they have a short slide or one slide presentation about where we are on the total budget on this project, which I just blew right through and didn't give them a chance to talk. So they're here and able to do that if you'd like. So that's O and P are both. The second bidder is the one that was preferred.
Okay. Attorney Wolf, go ahead.
Thank you, President Curzone. And the reason why the second bidder is being presented to the board is because the lowest bidder was actually disqualified. There are certain requirements in the bidding documents with respect to the bid proposal, and the lowest bidder in this instance for this particular resolution failed to meet the minimum contract requirements set forth in the bid documents, so the bid was disqualified. So the proposed contract, or the contract is going to the proposed contractor that is the lowest responsible and qualified bidder for the project.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee.
I have a question. We're voting for both of them right now? Just one?
Just for 10-0. Just for 10-0.
Okay. Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Item 10P is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for site utilities for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Alicio and Sons Company in the amount of $278,627. And do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Cordova? Do we have a second? Trustee Patrick? Mayor Charlie, did you want to bring up anything on this, or?
I'll let Attorney Wolf describe why we're going with the second lowest bidder here.
Yeah, so this was a similar situation where the bidder that proposed the lower number was disqualified due to their failure to include the specified scope of work in its proposed bid, and also its inability to meet the project schedule for the utility work for the project. And so that bidder was disqualified. So what's being presented is that the notice of award and contract for the site utilities go to Alessio and Sons Company of Lombard, which is the lowest responsible and qualified bidder for this particular work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Cassell?
Yes. Item 10Q is a resolution waiving the open and competitive bidding requirement and approving and authorizing a contract for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Amber Mechanical Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $794,300. And do we have a motion for item 10Q?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick? Attorney Wolf?
Okay, thank you. This contract, it has been recommended by W.B. Olson, our construction manager, that the village award this to the second lowest bidder. This is a different situation from the two previous items in that although the lowest bidder did meet the qualifications, the low bidder, W.B. Olson, has experienced challenges with this particular bidder and difficulties in the past that relate to the quality of work and cooperation on some major projects for a particular public entity. So W.B. Olson has recommended that the village award the contract to Amber Mechanicals Contractors, Inc. In order for the board to go along with that recommendation, the appropriate process would be, for this particular instance, to waive the bidding requirements and award the contract to Amber Mechanicals Contractors for the amount of $794,300 for the work related to HVAC. In order for the board to approve that, you have to approve it by a supermajority vote, 2/3 vote.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Do we have a number on the difference in this and the low bid?
Yes, the difference from the lowest bid was $768,000. This bid is for $794,000.
Okay, so about 28,000.
Yeah, $300. So about,
Yeah, 20,000.
yes.
Okay.
What
Trustee
percent
Co-
was that? I think that was a 3% difference.
3.4%, yeah.
Trustee Kozar.
Part of the reason we hired W.B. Olson was for their expertise. So I think this is one of those instances where they've reviewed something and they feel we should go a certain direction, so I would have to defer to our experts.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Cassell?
Yes. Okay, item 10R is a resolution or, sure, go ahead.
So the remaining items on the agenda, items 10R through 10Y.
10X. Oh, no, I guess they're all related. Well, 10X is 10Y is the
Change order?
The change order.
Related to the running track.
Yeah, it's silly. Okay, so I'll shut up.
So the remainder of the items relate to the running track. And if the board desires the construction of the running track, the alternate resolutions on items, as Manager Harline was correct, the alternate resolutions on items 10R through 10X should be adopted. We've prepared both resolutions, so if the board desires not to construct the running track, you would adopt the resolution. If you want to construct the running track, you would adopt the alternate resolutions that are on the agenda. The very last item, 10Y, is deemed a change order because this item was bid in the first round of work, and so the contract was already entered into. The contract anticipated a change order in the event the running track was approved by the village board, so this would just officially authorize the change order to Garb Iron Works. The amount of the change order in 10Y is $215,000, not 1.2 million. But anyway, so if you would like to have a discussion before you actually make a vote on these items, you can do that, and then you can vote in a group if you'd like to do this for these remaining items.
Should we discuss it first or bring up the resolution first? Have a motion on the resolution.
I think you can, if you want to have a presentation, you may do that.
Okay.
By W.B. Olson.
Okay, so before we go on with 10R through 10X, WB also wants to make a quick presentation on the running track.
And where we are.
See. Yep.
Oh, is it on the agenda? Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I'll get it.
Sorry. Thank you. I forgot it was on the agenda.
Get there.
He needs to state his name.
Yeah.
Make sure he does that before he gets going.
Dave, just before you get started, make sure you state your name for the record.
What is happening? So if they do alternate, it's these numbers when you read it.
Yeah.
Got it?
Oh, it's sorry. Easy to use website. Well, it's not. The minutes aren't on there. Right.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
So I'm Dave Ritterhoff, pre-construction director with WB Olson. We're trying to find the slide. We'll pull it up here in a second. But it's the same slide that was part of the packet presentation before, which I think the board has seen. So I could probably get started with that. I'm just going to take a couple minutes. I'll try and be brief. I'm not sure I'm going to get another chance, but I want to say over the last year, we've faced a lot of challenges in the construction market. Like everybody has, inflation has taken its toll. The timing of this project was perfect. Inflation was up during the design period, and then when the project went out for bid, we turned into a disinflationary environment. Material prices dropped. Competitiveness among the subcontractors was wonderful. I mean, you could see by the bid turnout that it was really, really well attended from the various bidders. So all in all, with the market conditions that we have, we actually did not use any of the design contingency, which really helped with the overall budget. That has been zeroed out of our last budget recap. So I don't know if you can, did you find it yet?
I'm working.
Yeah, we, okay. Okay.
Just takes a while.
Okay. So with the building costs and site work costs, I don't know if you guys can follow along, or should I just wait until this gets pulled up? Probably be easier.
Isn't this the same one that was on our agenda? Yeah, you can just keep going as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have.
We've all seen it.
Yeah.
So when we were here back in June 8th, I mean, we were looking at an approximate value of the project of just under $21 million. Right now, with the bids, as the board has just approved the majority of these in work release number 2 packages, the overall budget came down to $19,585,000. So it's a savings of about $1.5 million. We're under budget. So that helps with this alternate selection. Thank you. Perfect. So you can see in the last column there, the August 23rd update, building costs, site work costs. You can see how it compares to the past meetings that we've had. On the right side there, we're looking at a $17.3 million job. Back in June, it was $18.8 million. And then if we could scroll down to the next sheet, there's soft costs. So everything that's in this recap, I kept it the same format just for the ease of referring back and forth between the various dates. And then at the bottom, you could see total cost, $20,945,000 back in June, and today we're at $19,585,000. So, well attended by the trade contractors. Design contingency has been washed out. We dropped the costs during the bid period here dramatically. I think it was a great turnout from everybody that's involved, from Williams to Greg and his team to the board. Everyone participated and helped lower this project cost. The alternates there, the suspended running track at the gym was an add of $500,390. The budget before was $609,000, so that also came down $100,000 or so during the bid period. The majority of that was from the structural steel. And then alternate 2, which Williams Architects is interested in looking for some millwork wall panels in a couple of rooms, and that's not on the agenda tonight, but we did take prices, and that might come up in a future meeting. So all in all, we had 117 bids received, as the agenda noted. Very happy with the turnout. The design contingency is an $800,000 credit. That's no longer part of the budget, so it'll help offset the cost for this gymnasium running track.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I had one question.
Hang on, Manager Helling's got a question. He asked me to ask.
It's may I sir, ask a question if I could be recognized. I need to get his attention too before he sits down. So the $500,390, is that including the $215,100 from GARB, or is the $215,100 from GARB in addition to that?
The $500,390 includes the $215,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so seeing as it looks like we're in good shape for the running track, I would request that we have a motion to lump items 10R and 10X into one resolution. Actually, the alternate resolution on all items 10R to 10X. If that's okay with the board, I'd like to entertain a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Cordova, Trustee Patrick. Any questions or comments? Trustee Kozar.
I'm in favor of the running track. I think now's the time to do it. I think now's the least expensive time if we're ever going to do it. And it seems like based on what we were talking about previously versus what we are seeing now, we've got that, with that margin of savings, we've got that ability to do it. So sure. I would say now's the time to do it.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
I will agree with Trustee Kozar. I think the running track is important to our community. One thing that I have been talking with, or residents have been bringing to me my concerns, or their concerns to me, is that they want to know if the village is going to be charging a fee to utilize that track. In theory, people are saying that if they're paying out of tax dollars to pay for this track, that it should be available to them to use free of charge. So I agree that the track is essential to this project. Our community deserves it. But the questions that I have going forward are whether or not the village plans on charging a fee to utilize that track.
Manager Harlan.
The understanding, I think, from the beginning is that there will be some fees to cover the operating costs. The other option is that we socialize the costs throughout the entire village, and whether or not you use the track and the other resources, everybody pays whether you use it or not. So those are the two options, because there's going to be a cost to operate that. We did not, when we went out for the bond issue, we did not try to reach a number of, it's like a, a sum of money that would allow us to operate the facility without any additional expenses. There's a word for that, but it's escaping me. There's not a trust set up to cover all the operating costs. So yeah, I think from when I've gotten here, the understanding was that there'd be costs to operate, there'd have to be fees charged. What exactly we charge fees for, that's something, and how much we charge, that's a process that we need to go through, and that's, ultimately up to this board.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
I just want to get some clarity on the question. Are you, Trustee Patrick, are you asking just solely for the track itself? To just like have a scan card to come in and just use the track, or for the whole rec center?
Correct, just for the track itself. I know other, like Madison Meadows and Lombard, I know that they have different fees for different amenities.
Yes.
So that's what more or less that I was concerned with, because I have the same concerns regarding the basketball courts, being that we don't have any more left here. So that's more or less where I was going with that.
Yes. And so Manager Harline, that would not be an option to just have access to the walking track?
I don't have an answer ready for you.
Just Kozar.
Under 12A, is that one of the things that will be explored? That we can look at maybe a full, if we want to put it in quotes, like a full membership versus if somebody wants to just use the track, or a partial, which would be like your basketball courts. Perhaps under 12A, we can modify this a little bit and get some specifics as to things that we'd like to see that commission or that public comment coming back with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the general topic is on the agenda. I think they can make some modifications within that. I guess Attorney Wolf would be the better answer to that question.
So with respect to the motion that's on the table right now, the motion is to approve the alternate resolutions for items 10R through 10X. And so I would keep the matter with respect to the construction of the running track separate regarding the operation of the rec center. So when we get to item 12A, you can discuss how, whether you want the committee to evaluate those various scenarios with respect to the operational costs. But for now, the question on the table is to approve these resolutions to, allow the awards to go out so that the running track could be constructed. And so we should keep it limited to that. And then whatever direction the board has regarding the operation of the facility can be addressed separately later in the agenda.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so this is a vote to approve items 10R through 10, I should read these, right? Items 10R through 10X, the alternate resolution. Item 10R is authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for concrete for the new Lions Park Rec Center, the Abbey Paving Company in the amount of $880,800. Item 10S is an alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for glass and aluminum for the new Lions Park Rec Center to 3F Corporation in the amount of $1,133,900. Item 10T is an alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for wood and resilient flooring for the new Lions Park Rec Center to ProStar Services, Inc. in the amount of $419,500. Item 10U is the alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for fire protection for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Absolute Fire Protection, Inc. in the amount of $136,300. Item 10V is the alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for miscellaneous steel for the new Lions Park Rec Center to McKinney Steel and Sales, Inc. in the amount of $360,707. Item 10W is an alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for general trades for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Hargrave Builders, Inc. in the amount of $1,071,450. And item 10X is the alternate resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and contract for painting for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to Matan Group in the amount of $195,000. And we've already had the motion. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, that's trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
President Kazal.
Yes. And now we'll come to item 10Y, is a resolution authorizing the execution of change order number 1 to the contract between the Village of Villa Park, Illinois and Garby Iron Works for the furnishing, delivery, and installation of structural steel related to the construction of a suspended running track for the new Lions Park Recreation Center. And this is a change order in the amount of $215,000 to give a total award of $1,230,000. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Yeah, motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick, second. Trustee Cordova.
It's 215,100, just to be,
Okay.
I don't know, that's being pedantic, but.
Okay. Did you want to say something?
Just for clarification, the previous award for $1,230,000 for to Garb Iron Works was approved at a previous board meeting, and so that expenditure has already been authorized. This expenditure authorizes simply the change order amount in the amount of. Can we get some clarification, $215,100, or was it?
It's $215,100.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So, just for, so we're accurate here, the actual resolution says the change order is in the amount of $215,000, so I think we should entertain a motion to correct that, so that the change order is for the amount of $215,100.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend the resolution to change it from $215,000 to $215,100. Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I will second that.
Trustee Alfano. Okay, any discussion on that? Okay. Clerk Kornecki, this is for the revised resolution.
Okay. Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
President Kazal.
Yes.
Take another row. That's revised.
Okay. Okay, so we'll need another vote to pass the revised resolution, if we can have a motion on that.
Well,
Good.
sorry, President Kuzon. So we did have the motion on the original, and what that last vote was, just corrected that resolution. So now the resolution has been amended, and now this subsequent vote will approve the amended resolution.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, Trustee Patrick, the motion on that?
Yes.
Okay, we have a second. What?
We already have the main motion.
We just vote? We
So
vote.
yes,
So
it's
please.
just call for a vote.
Okay. All right, thank you. No problem. Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
President Kazal.
Yes. So that's everything on our rec center. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight and for all your hard work. And who knows, we'll have this thing built very soon. Okay, item number 11, public comments on non-agenda items. Do we have anyone signed up? Clerk Kornecki.
I had no one before.
Okay, seeing as no one is here, we'll move on to item 12A, new business, is requesting recommendations from the Park and Recreation Advisory Commission on cost recovery for the Recreation Center. Manager Harline?
This is a addition to the agenda under new business after a discussion earlier this week with trustee Patrick, as we develop the 2024 budget, staff is preparing an operations plan for the recreation center. Key policy issue that requires community input and a decision at the board level is what the expectation for cost recovery from the users of the recreation center versus socialized cost or subsidy paid by the entire village, regardless of usage. A motion is needed to send the issue to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission for a recommendation after public comment.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have a motion to send this to Parks and Rec Commission to set up a payment plan? Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Cordova, any questions or comments or discussion? Trustee Patrick.
I would also just like to request some information from the commission with their final report as well. It's about possibly exploring the option of including other municipalities such as like Oak Brook Terrace. Maybe that is a discounted rate or a non-resident rate or something along those lines. Oak Brook Terrace doesn't have a facility like this, and when we were debating or going over the pool issue with Lufkin, this is one of the concerns that came up with the residents, and some Oak Brook Terrace residents also came and talked about this as well, being that they're so close. Our school districts do share municipal borders as well with those, so that's something that I would like to suggest that we put into that as well.
Okay. As soon as we have our liaison here, I think you could bring that up.
Yeah. I mean, that would kind of blur the lines of, non-resident, right? Mm-hmm. So, sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'll talk about that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Yeah, Trustee Cordova.
Is the output going to be like a full programming for every single room, or are we just looking at, because that'll determine the cost recovery. So I'm not sure what the output is. This is semi-vague. This is just ideas as to how we're going to have cost recovery, but is this programming? Is that what we're asking for? I mean, they know what rooms we have, what classes, what classrooms, what amenities we're going to have. I know this is going to change a little bit, but this is going to have to be a fluid.
Yeah, I think this is more for like the track and the basketball court. Okay. I believe. Trustee Patrick.
I would also like to see programming looked at and discussed by the commission as well. This is a new multi-million-dollar facility, a lot different than the Iowa Community Center, a lot different space, and I think that our program should have a good hard look at to see whether or not they are right programs for our community and whether or not we could utilize new programs or such to possibly offset some of those costs as well.
Okay.
A more in-depth look at our programs, what's offered.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
On the lines of programming, I would like to have a resident input meeting on those as well. I think that if we're going to be spending referendum money, they should have a say in that.
Yeah, I was sort of seeing if I could invite Assistant Village Manager Suzanne McVeigh up. Her and Greg Gola have been working on some of these issues.
So Director Gola, Superintendent Brian Roche, and Gina Rancielli and I are all meeting to address all of these issues. So our intention is to have a pretty comprehensive plan. It is a very fluid document because it's going to change throughout time. But the biggest thing is looking at staffing and, how you need to adjust your revenue based on, how much staffing, how many programs you want, what kind of programs you want. Do we want, fitness trainers? Do we want to charge for the weight room? All of those questions are things that we're going to be talking about, presenting to the Parks and Rec Commission, which will eventually come to the board. So we are looking at that as well as operational costs, and then we will be taking in community input as well. So, go ahead.
Can you tell me more about the community input?
So we don't have anything set currently, but that is part of the overall process, and whether that goes as part of the commission or through the Parks and Rec Department, we'll kind of sort that out as we go. But I think the intention is to be as inclusive and responsive as we can be as we move forward. And again, it's going to, the rec center itself will continue to evolve. If you look at a lot of our near communities that have built similar buildings, those have grown as they've opened. So that's the intention as well.
Anything else? Just goes there.
So as you're having those conversations, things that I'd like to generally see is what the total cost would be that we can try to estimate if somebody wanted something similar to a membership to the rec center that would allow them access to the facility absent programming. So if they wanted, I think you said fitness trainer or something like that, those would all be add-ons that they would have to pay. When they were doing classes, something like that. But I would like to see a bare bones cost for just being able to have access to the front door. And you go in and you can use the things that don't require extras. So, for example, perhaps the running track, use of the weight room, things of that sort. And then I'd like to have, once we kind of get an estimate of what that number is, to Manager Harline's point, I'd like to just see what that might look like if we, to use Manager Harline's term, socialize that cost and have a smaller amount paid one way or another through everybody in the village so that everybody would have access to it. And just what that would look like. Obviously, we're not making decisions, but we just want to get that information. As an aside to that, now I just mentioned something that everybody in the village would have to pay for, to give only some people who actually use the property access to it. And we're talking about being able to put our budgets together. I just wanted to make the public comment that when it comes time to raise property taxes for our tax levy, I'm not in favor of raising our property taxes this year. So I wanted to put that out there early rather than late. So at least as you're looking at the budget, you know what my position is on that. But that's an aside. So when you're having those dialogues, those are kind of things that I'd like to see come back to us.
So I believe Manager Harline's intention is for the board to determine the cost recovery. So part of that will be if you put the membership fees at this, if we have staffing levels at this is what the board, and the general fund is going to have to support. So all of that will be part of that cost recovery discussion, because whatever is not covered within the revenue of the operational center is going to have to be supported in the general fund, right? So that will be the discussion that the board will really have to focus on.
Thank you.
Would there also be some sort of comparison to what it currently is with the Iowa Community Center?
Yeah, we can certainly discuss that.
Thank you.
Have you looked at, are you going to look at like the surrounding towns to obviously,
Yep,
probably
there's
a
no
big part
reason
of it,
to reinvent the wheel. So we have started by investigating our communities that have built similar, but also taking into account those that are actually districts versus, villages and cities, because those have differing budget constraints.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Renecke, please.
Okay, Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazel?
Yes. Okay, item 12B is a request for staff to develop a draft document to establish rules and procedures for meetings of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Villa Park. Manager Harline.
So, emanating out of a conversation I had with Trustee Kozar and discussions that we've had previously, and some suggestions that are overlapping that I've made to the board previously, it's common for municipal governments to develop a common guide of procedures and practices for holding board meetings. In addition to, we have some codified already in our village code, like the 3 minutes and 30, actually limiting 30 minutes total for comments from the public, but so this would go into more depth and those sort of things and address some of the comments and some of the stuff that we heard discussed here before. I've already reached out to Burr Ridge, Evan Walter, somebody I converse with regularly. They've developed some protocols. I know that Carrie Lynn Kraftheffer is going to share some stuff that she has, but I'll give you some options, and eventually maybe this is, I don't know if it's a committee of the whole meeting, but I've been in a couple of different cities where they come up with a general rules of order. You know, a lot of it overlaps with Robert's Rules of Order, and then they just re-adopt them every year to make sure, in case they want to make some tweaks here and there. But City of Fulton did things that way. And we were looking at doing that in the city of Dover, you know, and I can share a couple of stories as well, but I'm not going to do it right now. With some of the problems that happens if you don't have those kind of procedures, we generally things work well here, but it doesn't hurt to pursue tightening some things up.
Okay, thank you.
Talked a lot more than I need to.
Okay, so we have a motion to request staff to develop this draft document. Trustee Kozart?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second, Trustee Patrick?
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Trustee Kozart?
My vision of what this would be is kind of like a set of policies, set of rules, like you had said. Something that's very easy to change just through simple consensus on the board. And then as we approach different new and novel issues that maybe haven't been previously addressed, just so we have continuity moving forward, regardless of who is on the board, what the administration is, any of that. We have something that kind of reflects what we've done in the past so that we can do it in the future. That said, though, at any given time when it doesn't work with the opinion of the board, it can simply be changed by a majority of the board, where they say, you know, I know you said the 3 minutes is codified, but if it were to be something like that and we wanted to, as a board, have a slight change or something on that, we can simply bring it up and make that change so that it works for the board. And that document ultimately, when new trustees come onto the board throughout the years, they can be handed the handbook or the policy list or whatever we want to call it that says, this is how we've been doing it. These are key things to be aware of. And we have just more continuity as a board. So I think this is a great start. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect when we start it, and it can be something that develops over time. So thank you for putting this on the agenda. I think it'll help everybody.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Cassell?
Yes. Okay, we'll go on to item 13, are the village commission reports which have been reviewed. 13A is acceptance of minutes of the Environmental Concerns Commission meeting of June 22nd, 2023, the regular meeting. 13B, the minutes from the Environmental Concerns Commission Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee of that same date, their regular meeting. The acceptance of the minutes of the Board of Fire and Police Commission, June 27th, 2023, regular meeting. 13D, acceptance of minutes of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, July 11th, 2023 meeting. 13E, acceptance of the minutes of the Economic Development Commission, June 21st, 2023 regular meeting. And 13F, acceptance of the minutes of the Community Fund Commission, July 25th, 2023 regular meeting. So like I say, those have all been sent out to everyone. Okay, we'll move on to item 14, the village clerk's report.
No report, thank you.
Okay. We will start with the trustees' reports. Am I right, Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would just like to say that under new business on the agenda tonight, 12A, I think that's a really good example of how the village board can better utilize our commissions by giving them specific direction and tasks to work on. And that's more or less what I've been talking about over the last few months, about how we can have a discussion about further utilizing and better utilizing our commissions. So I'm looking forward, first of all, to having that discussion when it comes up at the COW meetings and how we could better utilize our commissions. So that was a great job, in my opinion, of how we get to utilize them a lot better. Second of all, this last weekend was the Villa Park Youth Flag Football League's opening season. I had the opportunity to be coaching a 5th, 6th grade team, and they had a tremendous amount of fun out there. Everybody was happy. They were right at the varsity field at Willowbrook, and I would like to congratulate the director, Mike Rodriguez, and specifically John Dyer and Laura Lee Dyer for helping grow that league. They have almost doubled in size over the last year, and it's just a great opportunity for the kids to learn a sport, to get out there, be with their friends, and enjoy some friendly competition. So if you are interested in Villa Park Youth Flag Football, they are always looking for volunteers. They still are, whether that's working the concession stands, helping with coaching, or other aspects of that league. You could really, they could really use your help. So give them check them out, if you will. And then lastly, thank you to our first responders out there. You guys are always busy. If you turn on the police scanner, it's always going off. And so I want to thank you for coming to work every day and making us safe out here in our community. So thank you.
Thank you. And you gotta say it's the newly remodeled concession stand at Willowbrook.
Yeah, and it is very nice, newly remodeled concession stand over at Willowbrook.
Nice job there. Trustee Cordova.
I was going to say, still cash only though right now.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
No report for me.
Okay, Trustee Kozar.
Two things. One is I want to personally thank the police department. A couple of matters that came up in the last week. The police department handled themselves very professionally, very well. So thank you to the police department. Thank you, Chief Rivas, for your leadership. And then last week I had said I forgot to bring the Fun Commission flyer that for the September 30th Autumn Jubilee. Here it is, if you can focus in on that. So that's going to be September 30th from 2 to 7, right at the museum parking lot right there. So should be fun. The Fun Commission does a lot of good work, so I look forward to what they're putting together.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I just want to remind residents to make sure to take a moment and fill out that comprehensive plan survey. My understanding is there weren't very many, I mean, we're kind of low for our goal. It was like 400-ish, is that about right? 450-ish?
We got some plans.
Okay. I also understand that when I was taking it, there is a question about your range, or your age range, and there's an 18 and under. So I was hoping that we could get some middle school and high school kids to fill that out. And my hope is also that if they will do that, they will also then show their families how to use a QR code, how to get onto there, and how to really just, it takes about 10 minutes, if even that, and it doesn't take that long. And it does affect us for the next 10 years for our planning. So please make sure to check that out. That's all I have to.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Corkery.
No report this week.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the village president's reports. There's a couple things tonight. Coffee with the board, which would be scheduled for Saturday, which is the weekend of Labor Day. We will cancel it for September. We will reconvene that October 7th, which would be the first Saturday in October up here. September 11th, Firehouse 81, the Villa Park Fire Department will hold a memorial for the 9/11 at 8:30 at Firehouse 81, 1440 South Ardmore Avenue. This is the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, and Fire Department does a great job with this. This was enacted by Chief Rokosnik a few years ago, and it's a really solemn ceremony. So if you get a chance to come out there, 8:30 at Firehouse 81. Thursday will be the last concert in the park at Cortese, Jose, and the Mambo All-Stars. Jose and the Mambo All-Stars will be playing. So 6:30, and hopefully the weather's a little better than last Thursday, which was very, very hot, and I think that kind of affected the crowd. Still had a decent crowd, but it was a little bit less than we had before. And finally, speaking of former Chief Ron Rakosnik, he has written a children's book. It is called Firefighters Are Friends. I got an advance copy from Ron, and it's really a good book. He wrote it himself. He did not do the illustrations, but it's a really good book. You know, I think for kids 3 to 5 years old, and he's got some Villa Park references in there, and there's also, of course, a picture of Chief Ron at the back of it. So you can get this on Amazon. Firefighters Are Friends by Ron Rakosnik. If anyone's interested in getting the ISBN number, let me know and I can get it for you. And that's all I have. Manager Harline.
And there was no compensation for that,
No,
that advertisement.
no, I got
wanna make
nothing
sure
out of
that
it.
that is
Yeah.
understood before. The September 8th, we'll be wishing one of our firefighters, and I'm forgetting his first name. Yeah, Mike Tenerelli, at 1 o'clock. We'll be retiring from the fire service. And I was going to say something at September 11th. You already got that. We also had I was kind of expecting you to say something with the senior, they postponed or moved their meeting for September.
Oh, the commission meeting? Yes, because the Senior Concerns Commission was changed because it falls on Labor Day.
Right.
So they will be the following Monday at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Village Hall. Yes, thank you.
And then just one other thing, apology for some email glitch with sending out the agenda. I would go into the details of it, but the long and short of it is we created a Teams folder, and somehow all of the emails are being sent there. We believe we've fixed it. The other part of this, and I know that Suzanne has nothing prepared, but we will be switching. I think we've made this, mentioned this. It probably won't affect your world, but the Granicus contract is ending, and a decision we made earlier this year to switch towards Civic Clerk, which is a cheaper version, fits within the budget. We looked at a couple different options, run by the same company that does our website. So the posting of minutes and agendas should be more seamless, and also getting old agendas and minutes should be more seamless. And then we'll also be able to access the videos similar to how we do now. So that next agenda will be coming out through Civic Clerk on September 11th. For the September 11th meeting. That will also come out the Wednesday before, and we'll send out a preliminary agenda on the Monday before. We'll have further discussion. That doesn't have as detrimental an effect on community development projects and pushing things back a further week for the Planning and Zoning Commission and that process, which meets on a Thursday, so it gives us a little bit, we're looking through the processes. Right now, I know you've been asking for an agenda a full week ahead. We know we can do Wednesday now, and we'll keep looking at it. We'll still send you the preliminary agenda on Monday. There are some difficulties about pushing it a whole week ahead. But anyway, you'll get the next agenda sent out to you Wednesday. You'll have Thursday, Friday, and Monday to discuss with staff before the agenda. Also, you can reach me over the weekend. That will be it'll be in a Civic Clerk is the software we'll be using. Ideally, you won't see any difference.
I don't think they can hear you.
I can't hear you on this
Okay.
side because you're turned this way.
Oh, well, is this not picking? All right, anyway, so we're going to be, the agenda for the next meeting will come out through Civic Clerk, which instead of Granicus. It shouldn't have much effect on your world, but if there are any, that shall go out on Wednesday, the Wednesday before the meeting on Monday, the 11th. So that would be the Wednesday, the 5th. Is our goal to get that out. That is the day after we return from Labor Day. So So we're going to move some timelines further up, and that's all I have.
Okay, good. Okay, nothing for executive session this evening, so we have a motion to adjourn. Trustee Kozar?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, our next meeting will be September 11th. We have a COW meeting at 6 o'clock and then our regular board meeting at 7 o'clock. Have a great Labor Day holiday and stay cool. It's going to be a hot one. Thank you.